Take two. Hello, hello, rock stars, and welcome. Let me mute that. To our Color Builders Catch Up Week. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. We are in the shop. I am on my new Bernina. I have finished putting together my walking palm, and we are going to get to quilt it together today, okay? Now, rock stars, I am using StreamYard, so you will notice at the bottom of the very long caption that I have written for y'all today, which hopefully has showed up. Yes, it has. There will be a link to enter your name so that I can see your name as you comment. And I do see that one of y'all has sent me an angry emoji, so I'm sorry that I already failed on this for you. Today, I'm excited to be back at this because I know that the last couple of months working on this program together have been haphazard at best, right? Getting String and Story on Main open, my attention has been on sewing samples. I'm excited to refocus and spend some time together this month getting caught up on these blocks, making sure that we've talked through them together, continuing to share tips as I learn them, and hopefully encouraging you to stay on top of this program as well. All right. Let's see. I'm going to guess that that is Terry saying, hey, hey. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Yvonne. I am thrilled to have y'all here. Now, before we actually start stitching, I am going to talk through just a couple of things with y'all. In the caption of this video, I have put a reminder about where you can go to get information about Aurifil Color Builders, okay? Underneath that, I have made a number of announcements, all right? The big announcement, of course, is that we have our Rhythm Quilt Along kicking off tomorrow night with Darcy over on Instagram, all right? We're gonna host this event on Instagram so that our folks who are here on Facebook, I get to quilt with y'all each week. And then our folks who are over on Instagram, Darcy's going to get to quote with y'all each week. It's a way for us to increase the number of times that we're live each week and doing events with y'all and doing slightly different things, right? Darcy's going to be leading the Rhythm Quilt Along, which is a very finite project, whereas we're kind of doing this online or this ongoing project together, okay? Important things with that. Jumping into the Rhythm Quilt Along with us is totally free. We do have a sign up link and we ask you to register, and that's so that we can send you reminder emails, updates, etc., and know who is quilting along with us. All you're going to need is the pattern. If you want to quilt from your stash, rock on with your bad self, but you will need to purchase the pattern. We have a couple, like literally a couple paper patterns left, or you can go order a PDF pattern from Brittany. Okay, Brittany is on vacation this week. So if you order a paper pattern from her, or if you order a paper pattern from us after our stock is depleted and we move into pre-orders, it'll be about a week till you have your pattern. Not a giant deal in the grand scheme of things, but do know that she does have that PDF version available on demand. We've curated several bundles for y'all. They're all in the featured section of the website to make it easy if you're like, I want some fresh fabric, I want to do some fresh colors. We're seeking to make that as easy as possible for you, okay? So if you're interested in that, you want to learn more before you jump in, join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern over on the String and Story Instagram. That's at String and Story on Instagram, okay? Darcy's literally going to be taking over my account for each of those sessions, which is super fun. So we will both be there tomorrow night because, you know, it's the kickoff call. Yvonne, great question. Yvonne says, can we get a digital version of the pattern? Yes, go get it directly from Brittany at loandbeholdstitchery.com. Great question. Thrilled that you asked it. Now, for those of you who are like slightly on the fence of whether or not you want to jump in, the only word of caution I will give you is that I suspect we will be out of patterns before that call tomorrow night. Okay, so of course you can still order your fabric from us, but if you want to make sure that you order your pattern through us and you want a paper pattern, order that sooner, not later. Okay, but of course digital patterns are always available on demand. Okay, so that's item number one. Item number two is that we have added, if you're like, okay, Holly-Ann, I know either you're not a part of Color Builders or you're like, I am a part of Color Builders and I want to do something else, but the something else is not rhythm, right? Or you're like, I'm not a part of Color Builders. The Rhythm Quilts Along isn't my jam, but I still like the idea of doing something together. We have added a bunch of virtual options to our classes and programs inside the shop, okay? So as you know, here at String and Story on Main, we're going to be doing a lot of teaching. We've added virtual options to a lot of those classes. Now, you'll see when you sign up in our shop that a number of those are actually marked as being on sale right now. And that is because for those classes, I'm going to be teaching in person and virtually at the same time. And since y'all who signed up for those classes will be graciously agreeing to be our guinea pigs on that model, we've reduced the cost of those classes a little bit. Okay, so we have a range backpack class coming up. What else did we put in there? We have a lecture with Darcy coming up that's all about fabrics for garment sewing. We added a live virtual intro to free motion quilting, and I feel like there's one more. Did we put quilting 101? We don't have quilting 101 yet. So intro to free motion quilting, range backpack. Yes, intro to free motion quilting and range backpack. And then the fabrics for garment sewing are our 3 virtual things that are coming up. And we would love, love, love to have you jump in on that with us, okay? Things you should know about that. Intro to free motion quilting, you'll need a hopping foot, you'll need some fabric, some batting, likely supplies that you have around the house or around your sewing room, not around the house. For the range backpack, we have canvas, we have interfacing, we have hardware all available in the shop. I need to make this mute. Hang on just a second. Okay, I think it's all the way down. Hopefully it's okay now. I can hear myself just a little and I'm like, ooh, that's annoying. Okay, so we do have all those supplies available for you as well. Those classes are starting soon, so go check them out if you're interested. All right, without further ado, I am going to add, and I'm actually gonna, can I hide or make my face smaller? Maybe like this. Shift 7 is what it says to do. I don't know. Nope. Hang on, we're gonna figure this out. Okay, but how do I make, I want to make this one bigger for y'all, so give me just a sec. Maybe we just do solo layout. All right, we're gonna start with a split screen and we're gonna see how it goes. I understand that y'all are likely not gonna be able to see every stitch that I am doing as we're quilting along together today, but hopefully you'll be able to get an idea of what I'm doing, all right? Do me a favor, in the chat, tell me your favorite thing that happened over the last week, because y'all are quiet in the chat this morning and I want to hear from you. We had an amazing grand opening. Oh my gosh, so many people came. By the way, we are continuing to work with the walking palm. I am using the lighter variegated to stitch my background here. You can see, hopefully you'll be able to see the changes a little bit. I used this dark green 50 weight. This is $28.92. It is a color that was included in 40 weight last year and 50 weight in the 2020 Color Builders. I used that on my darker palm fronds, and then I used the darker variegated from our box, 4653, on these. Let me see if I hold it up close if you'll be able to see this. It might just be backlit and weird. But if you can see, are y'all hearing the echo, or is it just me hearing the echo? All I really care about is y'all hearing the echo. And if you don't hear the echo, then it's fine. But I'm hearing it. All right, let me know. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, we've got this variegated thread that I used through here. I just love the way that it took this palm that honestly, when I put the light green on here, you can hear me, but can you hear the echo? That's what I'm worried about. Let me know. When I put the light green on here, I was like, oh no, it feels a little flat, like it's a lot of contrast going on. And then using the variegated thread, oh, I love the way that it added depth to this. Okay, let me just make sure. Settings, audio. Oh shoot. Well, darn. I accidentally kicked myself out. Let's try again. Kate, I need you to weigh in on whether or not you can hear the echo once I get this going again. but let me get the correct camera and everything going. That camera, I'm trying to make it easier for y'all to see me and what I'm doing. All right, I'm in the, let me add to stream. Uh-oh. Ha, okay. How are we now? Hopefully we're good. Okay, so what we're going to do here today, as I mentioned, is we're now going to take the lighter variegated from inside this box, and I'm simply going to quilt paisleys as my background. Oh, it's better now? Bless. Okay. Hopefully we got it all sorted out. We're simply going to quilt paisleys. Now, I am going to just give y'all a little full disclosure moment. I am still pretty new to quilting on my Bernina. This is my new Bernina 590 Crystal Edition. Her name is Dolly. I love her a lot. No echo, all good. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much. Her name is Dolly. I love her. But as y'all know, especially if you've taken Free Motion Quilting Academy, the pacing on a machine is everything. And I am still getting used to the pacing on this machine. So I have been experiencing more thread breaks than usual. So please bear with me if we experience that today. Every single time it has happened, it is either because I have moved funny or it's time to clean out my bobbin race. So we may have to deal with that a little bit together today. Now, I decided to just do some simple paisleys as my background motif for two reasons. One, I looked up pictures on the walking palm, and these things live kind of along water in marshy, super jungly areas. So I was like, all right, paisleys in this green variegated, it's going to do a nice job imitating a jungle environment. The other thing is that paisleys are one of my favorite motifs for getting my bearings when I'm quilting on a new machine. They have these nice curves and echoes, but they also have those quick, sharp points that if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, it will really begin to show, right? So it's a good way to put myself through my paces, feel more comfortable on this machine, and use this time together as some valuable practice as I get used to being on a new machine. Now, I did see a comment. One of y'all said that you miss seeing me on my big Juki. Let me tell you something. I was really worried I would miss the throat space on my Juki. I loved my Juki. Jehoshaphat was a great machine. We had a wonderful 4 years quilting together. Rockstar Cat, who lives in North Carolina, has Jehoshaphat now. She bought him from me, and I know that he is in good hands. He is being loved and used, and that is wonderful. But I was nervous about losing the throat space, right? Like we're teaching a lot of different kinds of classes here at Rockstar on Main, String and Story on Main. And so I knew I needed a machine that was up to that task, that had a lot more than just a straight stitch. So last week I really put this little Bernina to the test, and I pieced my rhythm quilt. I did the small throw, which is 57 by 61. It's the quilt that's on the wall that I keep posting pictures of. And so it's, even though it's a small throw, like it's not a tiny machine, or a tiny quilt. It was hefty. And so I've got my new Arrow sewing table that Arrow so generously sponsored for this space. I've got my new Bernina, and I was like, all right, let's put this new setup to the test. And y'all, I quilted that whole quilt on this Bernina in just a couple of days. And honestly, it went so well. And it really helped me lay my fears and anxieties to rest around releasing that giant throat space. Now, Bernina, of course, does have machines that have a larger throat space, but this was the machine that was right for me for this season. I may change machines again in the future, but that's one of the really cool things is no decision has to be forever. Now I'm gonna play with our light a little bit. I wanna see if I can get this to where y'all can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Sorry about my arm, like right in front of y'all. No, let's try just turning that off for now. I have my wonderful daylight slim line. It helps with my visibility, but it's not doing y'all any favors on being able to see these paisleys. So let's take y'all off the tripod for just a second and give y'all a close up. Okay. One of y'all says, I've been out of sync lately, thinking today is the 3rd, and ended up missing a webinar. Oh no, I signed up for Tuesday the 3rd and not Wednesday the 3rd. Oh, I totally understand. Yesterday I kept thinking that it was Wednesday already and it was Tuesday. So, all right, I just want to zoom in and let y'all see this up close. Look at this gorgeous variegated. I'm obsessed. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so we're just gonna keep filling this in together in the back. Let's see. You can turn off the light in the throat of the machine and that helps for video and pictures. Oh, that's great to know, Kate. Okay, I'll play with that in the future. I'm I'm nervous about doing that now. Can I zoom? No, it's not gonna let me zoom. That would be so nice of it. Okay. But y'all will get to see the motions I'm going through and we can keep chatting, okay? Now, I'm using my new Swan Amity quilting gloves. Ooh, I need to add those to my restock list. Pardon me just a moment. I've got a running list of all the things we have to restock after last week. And today is ordering day. I need to get everything ordered. So I'm making sure I have my list. We still have some larges. I wear a medium, I think. Is that correct? I am wearing a medium. I think I probably could get away with wearing a small. My hands are actually pretty small, but they fit me at QuiltCon and they felt like I needed a medium. So I said, okay. All right. But I think I could probably get away with wearing a small just for context for y'all. Y'all look at these palm fronds. I'm more than a little obsessed. I'm not going to lie. I was so nervous about getting back to this block yesterday, and Darcy was like, "Why are you nervous? Like this is not anything like super out of your wheelhouse." And I told her, I said, I lost some of the pieces. So some of these lighter palm fronds, somewhere along in the move, either they didn't get traced and cut out and I just forgot, or they got lost. And I was really unsure of like how many pieces I had lost and was worried that it was a lot. And I just got all in my head about it. And so I've been putting off getting back to this. And yesterday I sat down and figured it out. And I was like, oh, this actually isn't that terrible. And so last night I came in with Havana pretty late and listened to my audiobook and got these last palm fronds down and stitched. I used a lightweight cutaway interfacing, by the way, for those of you who have been paying attention to the fact that I was using paper as a stabilizer for a minute. I will put a picture either in my stories or in the blog that I'm hoping to write this week about this block and show y'all how it looks. But the back just looks so much more tidy with that stabilizer on there. Kate was here last week. She helped me, begin to move past my fear of stabilizers. Listen, I share all this. I don't know if y'all have paid attention, but I have said something about fear or anxiety like 17 times in the past 3 sentences. And I share that because I want to encourage those of you who maybe are already thinking about Free Motion Quilting Academy for this fall, or maybe you're thinking about long arm prep this summer, or maybe you're even simply thinking about intro to free motion quilting and you're like, or maybe you're thinking about the range backpack class and you're like, I've never done bag making before, but I want to take a whack at it. We all fear the thing we don't know. We all fear the thing we don't know. You are not unique in that. And I say that not to sound harsh, but to reassure you that it is normal to feel uncertain about unfamiliar things, right? And I have done a lot of unfamiliar things lately. As someone who has been thoroughly out of my comfort zone over and over and over the last, year, really. Just a friendly reminder that it's okay to feel nervous about new things. And another reminder that one of the best ways to move past that is to remember that action cures fear. It's a quote from Angelia Trinidad. She is the founder of Passion Planner. I always love giving Angel a shout out, but it feels especially appropriate this month with Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And she is an Asian American female business owner, female non-binary. And she's incredible. And they founded this beautiful company. And I love that quote from Angel because we need that reminder desperately. Action cures our fear, right? The biggest thing is to not become frozen in it. All right. All right. Let's see. Let me bop over to Facebook so I can actually see your names. Hi, Joyce. Rita says, are you using Hobbs Tuscany Supreme batting on small projects as well? I am. Sometimes I use the fusible. We have some fusible battings here in the shop that they're 80-20 fusible. And so sometimes for projects closer to this size, that is what I will use if I have it handy, because I literally just have to cut it out and iron it. And that's easy and quick. But right now I've been working through some batting scraps actually that I've been digging out of the back and just using regular spray based on them. It's easy. Look at this. I've got some Ruby Star Society on the back of this. Ooh, look at that. How nice is that? Gosh, that green almost looks like gold on the back of this. Let's see. Haven't made a bag yet. Listen, the range backpack was my first and currently still, no, not only. I made one other at the beginning of COVID, and then, life got crazy. But the range backpack was my first bag. Darcy made it with me, and she and I will be kind of co-teaching that class. We've got a number of things coming up that she and I are going to more or less co-teach. And I was so scared. We bought the pattern and we bought the supplies at QuiltCon 2020. And it must have been right before the pandemic that we got together. And we got together at School, which is also here in Duluth. And we got margaritas from Pure. And she was like, listen, I want you to slowly sip your margarita and follow my directions. And we did 2 sessions. We did that session there where we cut everything out. And then we went and we used the Juki to sew it up. And she was like, we're just going to follow the directions step by step. And she said to me something that Kate repeated to me over and over again this last weekend, which is trust the process. And truly what I love about that bag is that if you just slow down and follow the directions, even if you've never made a bag before, it comes together brilliantly. So I highly recommend, especially if you're wanting kind of your first foray into bag making, it's a great one. You'll kind of learn a lot of the basic things of, what is it like to work with some hardware, having to stabilize some of your fabrics to give things a little bit more body. We're going to be working with both cotton and quilting, or canvas and quilting cotton. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun time. And I believe that class is 3 sessions. We'll kind of cover all the main things in those times together and hopefully finish our bags. Sometimes things take longer than I think they will. So even if we don't get them done, you certainly will be prepared to get them done. And it's not like y'all don't know where to find me to ask questions. Let's see. One of y'all said that you got a sew study table. Marie says, I got a sew study table to make a bigger bed for my sewing machine. So technically this table, you may be able to see right here, this table actually drops down into where this could be flush, but I do not have my custom cut insert yet from Arrow. So once I do that, I can actually lower this down into the table and have a whole flat surface, which is awesome. Super excited about that. What I discovered in the meanwhile, when I dropped it down, just using this table, the little gaps around it made the machine kind of dip down and then have to come back up, and it made quilting really, really hard. So I've just got my seat raised up so I'm nice and tall with my quilting bed, and it's actually been a lot easier than I expected. Another thing I was nervous about, right? I've been on that big Juki with a nice flat machine bed for so long. And this has actually been a pretty fine adjustment. Once I figured out that sitting up tall is definitely key for me. I really like to be up over my work, you know, and I'm just working on this smaller quilt right now, but quilting that rhythm quilt last week, found the same thing to be true with that. This is the Kangaroo and Joey sewing table, and it's got this wonderful leaf out that comes up out behind the machine and to the right of me. And then over to my left, it has a little rolling cabinet that can come out. So I just have this whole little like cubby that I'm working in, and I love it. I love, love, love it. Y'all, it just looks so nice. I think I am going to go around maybe at the end and do some stitching, like kind of in the ditch right around these palm fronds. That's so much less entertaining to do together, though, that I was like, nah, I'll wait and see how I feel about it by the end. I will probably change thread colors for that. I will probably just use the light green that came in our box. It is a 2908, really, really pale green, and just kind of get right up in there. But I'll use that so that there's not a lot of color changes happening. It'll make it a little less obvious that I've added that stitching. You could also, of course, use a cream for that. But if I use the green and if I, you know, misstitch and stitch up on the leaves at all, it won't show up. It won't stand out and draw attention to my wibble wobble quite as much as the cream might. Let me tell you, one of my favorite things so far about having String and Story on Main open, there are two things. Thing number one is it was so much fun to get to see some of y'all in person. And it was so much fun to get messages from y'all being like, oh my gosh, now I want to plan a trip to Duluth. Let me tell you, you 100% should plan a trip to Duluth. It is so fun here. All right. But the other thing that I really love, and I shared this with Hubster either last night or the night before, is that for the first time in probably a year, I feel like we've crossed the last like big hurdle we have for a minute, right? Like if y'all think back with me, you know, String and Story moved into its own space and hired Heather. And then we were preparing for the Free Motion Quilting Academy launch. And it was the first time that I had done it, not just by myself, right? And then we had Fall Festival. And then I traveled several times and we had several local events, which led into Black Friday, which led into Long Arm Prep, which led into QuiltCon, which led into String and Story on Main. And, you know, the things that are coming up now, we have Long Arm Prep is going to be back next month, which I can't wait. Long Arm Prep is coming back, and then the Academy will be back in the fall. In August, which Kate, I think you asked me about that yesterday. I'm not sure if I responded to that. Academy will be back. I think it's either August 20th or August 21st. But those are familiar and exciting things that I'm like already looking forward to. Like I told my online business manager yesterday, I was like, I'm already stoked for the next cohort of the Academy. Because it feels so nice to have done all these big things. And now I feel like we just get to like sit and enjoy it together. We get to sit and enjoy quilting paisleys together. It just feels delightful. Feels delightful. Patty, great question. So Patty, I am on a new Bernina 590 Crystal Edition. The Crystal Edition part is important because it explains why I named her Dolly, as in Dolly Parton, because she's very shiny. It's very nice. Yes, if you come into the shop, I will let you gently touch her crystals because they're delightful. But I decided that it was time to change machines for a couple of reasons. So I loved every moment of being on my Juki J150. And I'm going to say that over and over and over again because I know a lot of y'all bought Juki J150s or you're still considering buying a Juki J150. And like, let me tell you what, it is a phenomenal machine. You're not going to hear me knock on my Juki. I loved being on that machine. The drawback of the Juki, couple of things. Drawback number one is it was a straight stitch only machine. And as we were preparing to open String and Story on Main and generally expand our education offerings, I knew that I was going to need a whole lot more options out of my machine. So that meant I was going to have to change machines regardless. And then it was a matter of deciding, okay, well, am I changing brands or staying with the same brand? And there's a couple of reasons why I decided to choose Bernina instead of staying with Juki. One reason is that my closest Bernina dealership is 2.5, 3 miles down the road. My closest Juki dealership is 35 miles down into the city. So any help I needed with the machine, any accessibility, any issues that developed with the machine or with our classroom machines, it was going to be like a whole day to go to the dealer and get help, right? It's not an easy pop down the road. Our relationship with Atlanta Sewing Center, not only can I pop right down the road to them, they can pop right down the road to me. It makes it really, really easy for us to be working together. So that was thing number one is needing more out of my machine, more options out of my machine, starting to look as far as a business owner, the support that I needed and that support being close, right? The third thing is really wanting a really reliable machine. So we have other dealers that are nearby as well, but I have only heard phenomenal things about Bernina's. And Atlanta Sewing Center is a shop that here in Duluth had a reputation for a little while of not being a super happy or helpful shop. They changed ownership a few years ago. There's a new manager in the store, Louise, and she is phenomenal. She is helpful. She is knowledgeable. She is energetic. She's a rock star, right? And some of the folks who work at Atlanta Sewing Center have actually taken Free Motion Quilting Academy. So it just allowed me to see that, especially business-wise and in terms of our dedication to ease for our students and service for our students, I'm in alignment with Atlanta Sewing Center on those things, right? This machine in particular, I wanted to ease into the Bernina world, right? I didn't want to start at the top of the line machine because that feels really inaccessible. And I know that it's already a big leap in terms of how accessible a brand feels to move from Juki to Bernina. I wanted to know what it was like to be on kind of a middle of the road size Bernina. Let me tell you, it's amazing here. It is amazing here. I love this machine. I have fallen in love with this machine. And Kate Tony, if she's still here, she is over the moon. She's been wanting me on a Bernina for years. And she was right. So this machine comes with an embroidery module, and I knew that we'll be teaching machine embroidery. So I wanted that. If machine embroidery is not, critical to you, the Bernina 570, my understanding is it's basically the same sewing machine. You don't get the embroidery module included. I'm sure there's a few other finessing things that are different, but my still kind of basic understanding of it is that Kate, you've been so patient. You've been so patient. But at this, for the last 4 years, I just needed a straight stitch machine that was going to piece and was going to quilt. And I didn't need a lot of finessing beyond that. This machine allows me all the finessing in the world. And Darcy sews on this machine as much as I do at this point, and she does mostly garments and bags. And this has all the stitches, all the options, all the things. When Kate was here, we had it running embroidery for, a week straight, which, oh my gosh, y'all, I can't believe I didn't show you. These are freestanding lace earrings. Hang on, I'm literally going to take it out of my ear so you can see it better. Hold, please. I'll hold it up over here. Look at these little freestanding lace earrings. I die. They're so beautiful. So easy. We did these on the machine. If you have an embroidery machine, Kate has a whole blog over on We All Sew with Bernina about how you can do these. Kate, will you drop a link in the chat? I actually can't drop links in the chat from StreamYard, which is super annoying. But Kate has a whole blog. And if you're like, I don't have an embroidery machine, I just want a pair of earrings, we have them available in the shop. So shameless plug, easy Mother's Day gift, just saying. Yeah, so does that answer your question, Patty? There's a lot of reasons. It was not a decision I made lightly. It's a decision that from about the time that we knew we were going to be opening
a space, which I would say was back in about November, I really began wrestling with, what was going to be the appropriate machine choice for me, and not just for me, but for our classroom and for our students. So Atlanta Sewing Center has very generously partnered with us to sponsor our classroom machines. So right now we have Burnett Academies in our classroom, and here in the next few weeks, we will actually have Bernina 570s in our classroom. So it'll also give folks an opportunity to come try out these machines, learn these machines, and make a decision about, what is best for them, especially if they're a new sewist or quilter, of, could this be the machine that they need? Yeah. One of y'all loves my earrings. Thank you, Rita. I love them too. I love that they're so light. I really love big earrings. But big earrings are so often heavy. But these aren't. These are nice and light, and that has been amazing. We have them in a frillion colors over in the shop. And if you, like I said, if you have an embroidery machine, you need wash away stabilizer. We use Aurifil 5008 thread. And then the design is from OESD. And Kate taught me how to make them this week, y'all. I had my first machine embroidery lesson. It was a really big deal. It was a really big deal. It was all Kate has wanted for years, was for me to finally start learning how to machine embroider. All right, I am chatting my little heart out as I'm stitching these paisleys, but what questions do y'all have for me about the walking palm, about my Bernina, about String and Story on Maine, about our grand opening last week, which was super, super fun, about the upcoming Rhythm Sew Along? I'm all yours for the next 20 minutes. And after the very busy and crazy few weeks we've had, I want to make sure that y'all have all the information you need from me about all the things. That's my goal. That's my goal here. And then next week, if you missed the announcement, we'll be working on the April block. I don't know if I will be quilting that one or if I will still be edge stitching it. I am thinking about doing either a satin stitch or a blanket stitch on that one. I got to figure out how to do that on my Bernina. It feels like a good opportunity to learn. Action cures fear. Action cures fear. That's our motto for today. So we may be satin stitching that together. And then my very belated blogs on quilting plans will be out in the next week or so as well, because I want y'all to have some input from me on ideas for quilting these. I think one of my favorite things about these variegated threads is that we don't have to overthink the quilting design, right? Like if we take a look back at the first two blocks. So this was our January block, right? And using the variegated thread to edge paint our design, I did some McTavishing in the background. And this was just, I think, either cream or gray thread. Didn't even use the variegated thread for the quilting, but really just let the texture and the variegated thread on the applique shine, right? Now, I did get a little bit more complicated in February. I used variegated thread from the March box for the background, but then the variegated thread just to do different pebbles and whatnot on our block. And this month, using solid and variegated thread to edge paint and now a variegated thread to simply do these paisleys. I think something that I love is that I don't have to be crazy with my quilting plan. I know that that can sometimes be hard for y'all, that I love me a crazy quilting plan. And so having the opportunity to step back and use just a single motif, but that variegated thread adds just one more layer of interest. And I do love a good layer of added interest. Let's see. Patty says, thank you. I'm using a Bernina 830 record that I got years ago. It has a small throat space, trying to decide if it's time to upgrade. Ooh, yeah, that's a great question. This throat space is still pretty large. Where's my ruler? I'm still getting used to where all my things are. So this is still a solid 7
7.5 inches. Let's see, that would be 6.5. 8 inches. This is still a good 8-inch throat space. So y'all, even though this is a much smaller machine than my Juki was, like I lost 3-4 inches of throat space, I have not noticed that as much as I was afraid I would, which is encouraging. Let that be an encouragement to you. And like I said, I've been quilting with it up on the table like this, you know, not flush down in. So I hope that's an encouragement of, you know, free motion quilting being even more accessible. Also, I'm so excited that I have not had a single thread break this whole time. Hopefully my tension's good. Oh, it is. Hallelujah. Kate, maybe I'm getting the hang of things. Yvonne says, I love using variegated thread. Oh, thanks for dropping those links, Kate. I do too, Yvonne. I'm getting kind of hooked, if I'm honest about it. Marie says, I took all the variegated thread and did a satin stitch so I knew what they looked like. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Oh yeah, knock on wood. Ooh, another fun thing, y'all. This is not related to anything. This is just something that's in my brain that I'm excited about. One of the things that we did for the shop is we took one of the painter's palette color cards from Paintbrush, and I had turned them into magnets a year or so ago. Yes, Kate, I do have a blog about how to do that, by the way. And so we decided to include that in the shop so that folks could play around with the different colors of solids and make different combos, you know, without having to lug all the bolts off the shelf. You know, we just tell people when they come in, like, if they want to lug bolts off the shelf, they're welcome to. But it's a whole lot easier to play with little color swatches. And I told Darcy last night, the next thing that I want us to do is I want us to cut a fat quarter of all 168 colors, either serge or zigzag the edges, and then do like buttonholes in one corner so that we can put them all on a loop, like on one of those like rings, you know, and hang that up so that then after folks choose their colors, or if they're choosing a bundle, they can go over there and hold up a fat quarter to pick their background fabric. I'm so excited about it. I thought of that last night when we were putting the kids to bed, and I felt very smart. And so I immediately voice messaged Darcy and was like, because we need one more project, obviously, we should definitely do this. Unfortunately, she was a great sport and thought it was a great idea. So I'm hoping that that's something we can add to the shop here in the next week or two. You know, just one more reason to come play with us. Just one more reason to come play. Yes, Kate, your color card went out last night. I will warn you, it's tedious because the the paintbrush color card, you can't just cut it apart and put magnets on the back. You have to like deconstruct it a bit, which is frustrating. But I did write a blog all about it to help you do that. And honestly, just like turn on a movie and spend the day on the couch watching movies and deconstructing your color card, and you'll be good to go. It's basically the moral of the story. Patty, great question. Yeah, so why the machine on the table and not recessed? So the reason it is not recessed, even though I can do that, it's because I don't have my custom insert yet. And until I get my custom insert, the quilt goes like down and then back up because of how this table like fits down inside. So I end up kind of quilting down in a hole. And it didn't work. I was working on it last week that way with the rhythm quilt, and it created so much more drag because it was catching on this edge the whole time. So I just decided to raise it up, and I'm finding that to be a lot easier until I get that custom insert. Great question. Yes, the color card. These are the kind of projects I love. Kate, I love that. I love that. Watch out. I'm going to make you come back and help with our crazy projects like that.
Wonder if Louise would let us overlock the fat quarters on the what the heck is the overlocker that we were talking about last week, Kate? Wonder if I could go down to Atlanta Sewing Center and use their overlocker. Be like, hello, I am just here to use the machine. I figure that's a good opportunity for me to learn how to do buttonholes, though. Just saying. See, I'm trying to learn all these new skills, y'all. And some of y'all are watching this and you're thinking, Helene, you don't know how to use a buttonhole. Like, that's pathetic. And some of y'all are watching this thinking, oh, good, I don't know how to do a buttonhole either. this is the both and of our lives, right? Okay, let's see. The L890, yeah, watch out, I will fall in love. I played on it when I was there. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I played on it when I was there a few weeks ago. And yeah, it was dangerous. It was dangerous. I was like, oh no. Like, I don't need this in my life. I mean, maybe I do though. It's okay. The place that we were talking about putting the L890, we put our Aurifil thread tower. So I'd have to find a new spot for it. That'll slow me down on adding machines. I turned that around, but now I'm worried that all my paisleys are going to end up upside down, and I don't actually want that. Buttonholes can be scary until you read through, do it the first time, and go, that was it. See, Jennifer, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But that's why I think the fabric swatch project could be a good one to do it on. Because it's not like I've spent all this time figuring out how to sew a shirt, and I'm scared I'm going to mess that up. Like, if it looks a little janky, that'll be okay, because it's just going to be, you know, like a background swatch. It's going to, like, literally live in the corner. Y'all, this variegated, I die. It's so good. I know y'all can't fully see it. Don't worry. I will hold it up to the camera again in just a minute. I'm making good progress here. I don't think I'm going to quite finish during our time together, but we're going to be close. All right, so follow-up question, since y'all didn't have any questions for me. How many of y'all are planning on stitching rhythm with us over the next few weeks? It's going to be a quick quilt along, y'all. It is, we're kicking off tomorrow, talking all about colors and fabric choices and the pattern itself and kind of the format for the quilt along. Then we're going to have 3 weeks of piecing because we want to be done before Memorial Day weekend. There will be prizes each week. So prepare your spirit to post pictures of your work on Instagram. Aurifil sent me some amazing stuff to use as prizes. So we will be doing prizes. And then we will come back right after Memorial Day, the following Monday, and we'll do one more follow-up call. But I'm hoping we can maybe figure out an element to do a little bit of show and tell, but I will also talk through quilting plans at that point. So that'll give everyone like a week or so, or 2 weeks. I guess it'll give everyone 2 weeks to finish their quilt tops, you know, and be kind of ready to quilt, and then we'll talk quilting plans. But Terry Thorne, you get the credit for making this happen, because you asked me if there was going to be a quilt along, and I told you no. And then I looked at Darcy and said, actually, how do you feel about hosting a quilt along? And she said, I feel great about that. So we decided to make it happen. So thank you, Terry. Thank you for asking that question. Y'all know that's how a lot of things happen around here, is one of y'all asks and we start noodling on it and we figure out how to make it happen. Yvonne says, I hope to, but I'm working on a quilt for a baby shower that's in less than 5 weeks and has embroidery and minky fabric. Oh my gosh, Yvonne, that is a lot. You could make the baby size of, you could make a baby size of Rhythm, and it only uses 12 fat quarters, and it comes together, like this one came together fast, but that one would come together even faster. And we have a number of bundles in the shop that have 12 fat quarters. So, you know, just enabling, just sprinkling some enabling spice on there. Let's see. I ordered the Thomasina bundle before I knew about it. That is perfect. Yay, Karen. I love that. I love that so much. I pulled out my sampler to decide what I want to use for my next quilt. Never thought I would use it. Oh my gosh, I think that's phenomenal. I love that you're using your sampler to make quilting plans. Phenomenal. That's right. And Kate says, shameless plug, we will be live on Instagram on May 17th. So we're going to be doing some fun like IG live stuff this month. And Kate and I will be talking all the things for her machine embroider along, which we sponsored, which is so exciting. If you don't have Instagram, can you still do it? So great question. Yes and no. Okay. Without Instagram, you will not be able to watch us live. Unfortunately, Instagram does not integrate well with other platforms. So there's not an easy way for us to be live in 2 places at once. I am hoping that we'll be able to download the Instagram lives after the fact and put them on YouTube. So you'll be able to watch over there. My recommendation though, honestly, if you're wanting to jump in, especially because I think Darcy's going to be doing some quilt alongs like this, like not infrequently, is go ahead and get Instagram. You don't have to follow anybody. You don't have to do anything. But it's owned by the same company as Facebook. So if you're already kind of tied into that, just open the account to be able to watch our lives would be my kind of honest, easy solution. But like I said, we are hoping to archive the videos onto YouTube, so you'll be able to tune in there. Yep. Winnie the Pooh embroidery, Yvonne, that's adorable. Ooh, and Kate says that we can download the live afterwards. That's amazing. That would be amazing, Kate. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna try to make it accessible by having that option. Yay, Jan, I talked you into it. I love being an enabler. Literally just follow me and Kate. Like get an account, you know, pick a fun name and just follow me and Kate. And then you can watch our stuff. It's big fun. It's big fun. What's fun too is I make these little videos called Reels, which you've probably seen them on Facebook. But not all Reels that are made on Instagram push over to Facebook. There's like, I don't know, it's something about like the audio rights. I don't really know how it works, but there's fun videos over there that maybe you haven't seen because they don't all get shared over automatically. So I'm just saying, then we just have more ways that we can hang out together. It's great fun. Nope, here comes the big loud air conditioning. What time is it? Oh my goodness, it's about time for me to show you how this looks, especially since my pacing apparently just got weird because my stitches got really long. See, it happens to all of us, y'all. I get out of my groove. That's okay. I don't mind being out of my groove because I'm chatting with y'all. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around so y'all are gonna. You have an account, just never use it. See, you just need to sign in to hang out with us. Okay, so y'all are gonna have to look at this upside down, unfortunately, because I don't want to move my needle. Oh, that's so good to know, Kate. That the AC is not bad. I'm curious to see how it will be when Darcy and I are live, and it is. Oh, y'all can actually see that really well without me even moving, y'all. I'll just hold it like this. When Darcy and I are live and we're not using the AirPods. So at some point we'll have to get technology fancy and figure out mics. But anyway, okay. So I'm gonna remove. Can I just hide me for a second? How can I do this? Solo layout. Can y'all still hear me? Maybe. Here we go. I just want y'all to be able to see this as big as possible. Let's turn this on again.
Look at those pretty, like subtle changes in the green. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And then I will probably go back around and do, like I said, some little stitch in the ditch right up against these palm fronds just to really make them pop. You can see I've got a little bit of puckering going on just because it's not secure. So that's how I will solve that. And then on the back, look at that. Oh my gosh. Obsessed. I'm obsessed. Okay. All right. Bring this back up. Go back to the double layout. Is that how I do it? Perfect. Okay. So rock stars, thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, it felt so good to just sit and stitch with y'all and get to just chat through some things. Oh my gosh, Jan, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. I really appreciate it. I'm really, really pleased with String and Story on Maine and how everything has come together. I can't wait for y'all to make visits down to us, and I'm excited that it's allowing us to expand some of the classes that we're offering. I'm really, really excited about the range backpack class. We've got that live intro to free motion quilting coming up. Darcy's doing a lecture on fabrics for garment sewing, which if you are newish to garment sewing like me, it's going to be super helpful for us. She's going to talk through all the things we need to know. I don't even know what the things are. I just know she's going to teach us. So do go check out a couple of things. As I said, there's a link in the caption of this video. If you're going to do the rhythm quilt along, go ahead and register so that you can get the emails and the updates and all of that. On the Color Builders front, your May block will hopefully be out today, tomorrow, if not today. I'm still playing catch up on all the things in my inbox. So thank you for your patience. Our thread is on the way, and that should go out by the end of next week is my hope. So that is coming. The other thing with Rhythm Quilt Along is, as I said, we're almost out of paper patterns. So if it's important to you to have a paper pattern and you want it before we get started on Monday, like go order it now, okay? Otherwise, you can get a digital pattern basically instantly through Brittany at any point. So Brittany's on vacation. So once I'm out of paper patterns, I won't be able to get any for like about a week and a half. So that's why I'm kind of emphasizing that for y'all. And then we have curated bundles. We're going to be talking about those curated bundles tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern over on the String and Story Instagram. Okay. What else? Also in the String and Story shop, if you go to the classes and events tab, so stringandstory.com/shop, then you'll click on classes and events. You'll see they're marked virtual, the classes and lectures that you can join via Zoom. Okay. Rockstars, you're phenomenal. Thank you for being on this wild ride with me, for continuing to work on our color builders. I'm really excited to be back into the groove with it. We will work on April's block next week, and then we'll actually work on May's block the last 2 weeks of May. All right. Rockstars, you're phenomenal. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you on Instagram tomorrow at 7.